Hi, I'm Geoff McQueen with McQueen Building Company, and this is our completed renovation of a 1960s Tudor home in the suburbs of my hometown, Pittsburgh. When we first came to this house, we were greeted at the front door with what we would expect in these old 60s Tudor homes, a really dark, all wood, red door, really reminiscent of the time period when the house was built. It doesn't work very well for modern families, so we replaced the front door, as you can see, with these beautiful dark wood, but mostly glass front doors, which brings so much light from outside into the house, as well as enhances the curb appeal from the street. I think tight was the best way to describe this house. So you walk through this front door and you walk through a very narrow hallway, and we sat down, Christine and I sat down with the homeowners the first time I met them at their kitchen table, and there were only 4 of us in the space and it was already tight. One of the most common requests from homeowners when they first engage with us is they want their house to be bigger. They don't necessarily want to put an addition on the house, which can cost a lot of money, but imagining the home, especially with a homeowner that's lived in the house for a while, imagining rooms in a different layout or a different configuration gets really difficult. So it's really important when you hire a design build firm that they have the tools necessary to show you the endless possibilities with all of the rooms in your house. We knew that we wanted to take walls down. We knew that we needed to make the space bigger. Obviously, we needed to make the space brighter. But I think if we kind of kept in mind what the homeowners wanted the most, which was they want to be able to hold a lot of people at the same time without them being in different rooms. So that's why we landed where we did with the design process. All right, to satisfy the homeowners, I think primarily what we needed to do was stretch this room. We weren't going out into the backyard, so we needed to take up the entire back side of the house. We did that by removing the dining room. And in moving the dining room, we were able to gain all this extra square feet. We actually not just have an island that's 14 feet long and can seat up to 6 or 8 people. We also have a peninsula, we have an eat-in kitchen, we have the formal dining room, and they can host up to 50 people in here without a problem. It's really important when you're removing almost all of the walls on a first floor like this, that all of the rooms really can speak and breathe and have a good synergy with one another. And that's where Christine comes in and the design team and making sure that all of these finishes really match, even though they're different rooms. Just because you take all the walls out of the first floor doesn't mean each room doesn't need to still retain its own character and feel. So one way to do that is to change wallpaper, lighting, and this really incredible ceiling design. It really just sets this room apart from the rest, even though you can walk seamlessly through all the spaces. There was a fireplace here to begin with, but it was about twice this size. And due to the fact that it had red brick, and now you can see it from all the different places in the house, we wanted to tone it down a bit. That's why we applied the lime wash treatment to the brick. We love projects like this, where we get to meet a family that's living in a house for a while. They may not love it. They're thinking about whether they should sell it and move or stay. And then we come in and we're able to help them fall in love with their house all over again. That's where it's at. That's why I love my job so much. The term Pittsburgh basement in our city is a real thing, and it's not a pretty sight. Usually it reminds me of block walls and dark floors and usually water leaks in the foundation and things like that. And this basement was not much different than that from the beginning. The first real challenge that we had to deal with was the center of the basement was consumed with all of their mechanicals. The furnace, the hot water heater, took up half the space in the middle of the basement. And the next thing, which was really odd, was a giant, basically a tub in the middle of the room. And what we did was we moved the mechanicals where the tub was and removed that tub because nobody needs a big giant 8x10 tub in their basement. Next, we had to get a little bit more living space out of the basement by moving the laundry room. That became a little bit of a challenge to try to figure out where in this pretty small basement we could find a place for it. So we tucked it around the corner, we made a special spot for it, and my wife did a great job of making it really functional, even though it's a pretty small footprint. A great way to add space to your home is to finish your basement because you already have the square footage. You don't need to spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars in adding onto the home when you already have the space to begin with. I think one of my favorite parts about the basement is actually the kitchenette. It serves 2 huge functions. First of all, this family likes to host huge parties. They have a big Italian family and it's not uncommon to have 30 to 50 guests here. A lot of times they're hanging out on that beautiful patio, so it's easy for them to come in and out, grab drinks. You can even wash your dishes down here and you don't have to worry about going up and down the stairs. If you can fit a full-size bathroom in the basement, that's just a bigger bonus. In this case, we had one to begin with. We kind of pulled everything out. We didn't rearrange anything, but we did add the beautiful wallpaper that you see, that gorgeous, more bright, open glass door shower, and the fixtures that we selected were really about making it comfortable for the homeowner and for their guests. And lastly, With the garage attached to the basement, this is the main entrance for the house for them and probably most of their guests. So having a place to store your coat, your hat, your boots, your shoes, especially with little kids, that's the reason why we put the mud bench right in the space. The whole idea here is that you want people to come to your house and you want them to stay. And the best way to do that is to make it comfortable for them and for you as the host. This homeowner originally bought the house for its location, and how could you argue with them? But I am so happy they let us play a part in not only now enjoying the location, but the design and function of their home.